Good evening. Calling to order the school committee meeting of the whole on February 27, 2024. All rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And Dr. Garcia, would you call the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Stacy Bronson-Rizzo,
Present.
Mr. Anthony Caggiano,
Present.
Mr. John Kingston,
Here.
Mr. Anthony Matera,
Here.
Mrs. Aisha Milbury Ellis,
Present.
Miss Jacqueline Monterosso, Mayor Patrick Keith.
Here. We have a quorum. So first up on the agenda, approval of minutes. Do we have a second? Any questions on the minutes? No? Okay. We have a second? No? Oh, there's no, this is a regular meeting, yes. All right, attached warrants. Anyone have any questions for our,
I can.
there you go, Mr. Caggiano?
Man, just a couple ones, because still new about this. When we have all the busing for the, it says homeless living inside, homeless living outside.
Yep.
Can you just give me what's that?
So there's two different categories in the mind of the Department of Education.
Oh, page 9, sorry. Yep.
That distinguishes between a homeless student who was living in Revere, has now been forced to live outside of his home in another city, but is coming back to his Revere school. That's one type of homeless student. The other would be a student who they lived, say, in Medford and became homeless, and they're being housed in Revere. Well, we have to get them back to their original school in Medford. So we distinguish it based on which direction they're going. If you see living in the city, attending outside, that means it could be any other Commonwealth school. If you see living outside the city, coming inside, it means they had been living in Revere and attending with us, and we're getting them back to school here. So the account number object in the code specifies.
Okay.
That affects our reimbursement that we get for the different type of student.
Thank you.
Ms. Milbury Ellis?
Sure. Matt, I only have two questions. On page 12, line 403, it's $16,200 for RMA Gymnasium. I'm just curious as to what improvements or what was going on there.
If I could.
Yeah, sure, John. Right.
They resurfaced the floor.
Thank you, John. And then my second question is, I'm just interested in learning more about page 19, line 638. It was $300,000 for educational services, Ignite Reading.
Sure, Dr. Kelly can answer that. That's the second of two payments for the year for that program.
Okay.
And that's for the elementary reading program that we use district-wide. We did just receive a grant to extend that to grade 3. And you'll be hearing about that coincidentally during the curriculum presentation tonight.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
That's it.
Sure.
Any other questions for the warrants? No? Okay. No financials. We have food service financials, none. Communications, there are none. And enrollment update.
Can I speak to them?
Yes.
So
Dr.
the
Kelly.
one thing that I wanted to point out is a little bit different about the enrollment update that you received this month is that it has a lot of detail around the high school, and that's in response to member Monterosso, who's not here yet. She did text me to say she's stuck in traffic. I'm sure she'll be here soon. But she had asked about what's happening at the high school level in terms of class size. And so you got a listing of all of the high school classes and what their current class size is, just so that you can review that. And in the future, what we're going to do is give a summary for the average class size for each of the different content areas. So it'll be the average class size for English language arts, average class size for math, science, et cetera, et cetera. But we thought giving the full detail once might be helpful to the committee.
Thank you. Okay. All right.
I see K
It's this packet. Yeah.
Any other questions regarding the enrollment? No? Ms. Milbury, Ellis? Good?
No, thank you.
Okay, great. And personnel? New hires, retirements, resignations? Seems like the percentages are getting better, a little bit,
Of, what's that?
attrition.
I would say, yeah, we've had fewer folks moving on, and the ones that you see that are coming up in terms of retirements are typically for the end of the year. That's what you'll see coming up now. But it's still, we still see some dysregulation. Tony will tell you, having been an educator before, you would almost never see a teacher leaving mid-year. And we see more and more of that happening. So we still don't have the level of stability that we would like, especially among teachers. It's a trend that's happening across the state and across the country, but as you pointed out, Mr. Mayor, it is more stable now than it was earlier in the year, but that's also what you would expect as we get closer to the springtime and the eventual end of the school year.
It all comes down to dedication. It all comes down to dedication. It's such a shame to see such a lack of that nowadays.
You know, the old days, you give a regular notice, standard notice, they don't exactly exist in certain professions, but,
And it eats at you to turn that notice in.
right. For the record, Ms. Monterosso is present. Welcome.
Excuse me.
All right. Any other questions on personnel? Okay. Acceptance of donations and gifts.
I
Want to
can
get on this?
speak to
Dr.
this
Kelly?
as well if you'd like. So as you can see, there are a number of different donations and gifts that we're asking the committee to approve tonight. The first one, very generously, was left to us from an RHS graduate who, at the end of her life, decided one of the things she wanted to leave money to was Revere High School, and that was Louise DeRosa. And we're very thankful to her and her estate, which has provided us with that $2,000 donation, which will go into the general fund at the high school, and they'll use it to support student activities. The second one is from Amazon, and I want to thank the mayor's office who helped us make connections with Amazon on this piece. They've donated $7,500 to support our robotics program, and those funds were used to help do some of the project at the building on Winthrop Ave that the mayor's office also made available for the robotics club. And we're going to be planning in the next couple of weeks an event over there where folks can come and see the space. They use it as a practice field, and they're really excited about it. In fact, there are other robotics clubs from around the area that are coming and using the space as well, and helping them raise money that way. So very exciting
And
progress on that.
Dr. Kelly, just so the committee knows, the robotics team, which of course everyone here has been very supportive of, they're a nationally acclaimed robotics team, was struggling for space, so they did put in a request to see if there was anything available. The former League of Special Needs and the Winthrop Ave site was used for a food hub in the community. Since that got downsized and brought over to City Hall on Fridays, the space was open. The commitment was to allow the robotics team to utilize that space until eventually the new high school is up and running, and they'll have adequate space. So I think that was the least we could do. It's low impact to the neighbors. The neighbors were very, very excited that there'd be low traffic going in and out of there. It wouldn't be much of an impact to Winthrop Ave residents. So we were excited to give them the space. and they are putting their elbow grease into it, and they're really doing a very nice job of putting sweat equity into the Winthrop Ave site. So I'm excited. In a couple months, we'll have the whole school committee over there to take a look at what they did with their very little funds.
Very little funds,
We
yeah.
got some donations from Amazon, and Amazon is also looking to work their networking with other robotics departments in their large company, but as we know that there's partners that they have in Boston with other robotic firms to bring educators on, to bring mentors on, and if there's even leftover equipment that might be outdated for an Amazon that could be utilized for a school. All right? So there you go. Ms. Milbury Ellis, did you have something you want?
No, that's great.
That's good. Good to lean on those corporate donors.
All right, the next item is a project we've actually been working on with the DCR, and that's their Greening the Gateway Cities initiative to add trees in the gateway cities. And so all of our schools are participating in this. What you have in your packet is 2 samples, one from the Paul Revere and one from the Hill School. And I want to thank Carl Svensson and his team, who's been working closely with each school on making sure the kind of trees we are getting are appropriate for the areas where they intend to place them. One thing they're very cognizant of is not using trees that have invasive root systems or that will pop up sidewalks and things of that nature. So all of the schools intend to participate in this program. There's no cost to the school district at all. So in that regard, it is a donation or a gift, and so they want the school committee's approval. These 2 schools are further along in the planning process, just to give you 2 examples. And with your approval, the other schools will go forward with the planning as well. The next one, really exciting, we got a $100,000 grant for early college at Revere High School. And that's going to pay for students to have support as they attend the early college program that we have with North Shore, and also help support staffing of that program to make sure there's adequate interventions when students may be struggling a little bit, make sure that they can get the resources that they need. And together with that, we also have the high school senior internship education project, $85,500. Diana Finn is overseeing both of these grants. And that second grant is exactly as it says, to help get kids into internships and make sure that they're moving forward in their life plans, whether or not that includes college after high school. And then, oh, sorry, that's it, right? Yeah.
Yep. That's great. Any other questions on donations, gifts? No? Great. Next up, we have school field trips, which I know the ROTC is going to nationals.
The ROTC is going to nationals, and also I think you got a late communication. Did that get into the packet, Robin, from the SBA? Yes. JROTC, I think all of their paperwork was in time, so you have that information. It's one of the competitions that they, I believe, have not done in the past because it was typically on school time. And I have to give Major Bowker, who we all know is relentless in the pursuit of what she believes is right, got the Army to change the dates because it was always when the kids were in school. And so they switched it to school vacation week, which is just, I mean, she's just incredible. So that information is there. The kids will have to miss, I believe it's 1 day of school for travel purposes. They understand that it's upon them. And again, Major Bowker and the rest of the JROTC team will make sure that they do all of the work that they miss and make anything up. But, along with our robotics team, I'll say that the JROTC is a group that's really brought a lot of pride to Revere with all of the awards that they win in statewide competition and national competition. And that's not to diminish anybody else. Our athletic teams are incredible too, and all of our other clubs are incredible. But it's just something to see when the kids come back from national competition and have been highly rewarded for their hard work and effort. And the adults who lead them deserve the same recognition.
Do
Mr. Matera?
other districts around here have a junior ROTC program? All of them, some of them?
Some of them, not all of them. Lynn does, I know East Boston. Each city or town is invited to have one JROTC program. They have to pick which branch of the military they want to represent. So ours is Army. I know there are some districts that don't have one at all. I think it's a great program. It's a great way to teach kids leadership and discipline, and even give them ideas on other options beyond college that they might want to engage in after school. So it's really pretty interesting.
Dr. Garcia was the principal when he started this program, and you should be thanked for that, sir.
Thank
One of
you.
the best
Appreciate
things you
it.
did. No, I mean that sincerely.
But then, others caught up with it. They
I know, but
built on it.
it was one of the things that you started, and I
Thank you.
never forgot it, and I
Take
appreciate it.
the compliment, Dr. Garcia.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
I know it's not easy, right?
I'd like to say one thing. If any of the students or their parents need help with the notary part, all the credit union would be happy to help with that. We do have the office here and as well as the office in Wonderland. We're all, there's 4 of us that are notaries, so if anybody needed help with that, we'd be happy to help them, and I'd be happy to help them personally as well. Sometimes it's a pain going to a bank or whatever and getting everybody involved, so we'll do our best to help them. I have helped other groups that are going on field trips, met them at the library, done whatever to help out, and be happy to do that for the junior ROTC or the robotics program if needed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kingston. I know, before, are we gonna, pretty much wrapping it up, or?
I was just going to mention a little bit about the SBA field trip.
Yeah, great.
Okay. So the other field trip that you got late today, we had a paperwork snafu, which made it be late. I apologize for that. But Susan B. Anthony is looking to have a field trip for their 8th grade to go to New York City. It's a day trip, not overnight, but it is out of state, so it requires the school committee's approval. And this is for some of the civics work that they've been doing, so the whole trip is going to be focused around civics and engagement. And so part of the lesson for the kids is to figure out how to raise the funds to have the trip, which I think was a pretty interesting concept that the teachers came up with. And, I think they'll do a great job on that trip. So we're in support of that one as well.
Seems pretty reasonable. Low cost, great. If anyone hasn't seen the Statue of Liberty in Ellis Island, it's a cool site. It's really nice. Did you come over here, John, from Ellis
No, I
Island?
was going to go in April, actually.
Just before we do wrap it up, I did want to give a shout out, and as Mr. Kingston mentioned as well earlier today, the RHS girls basketball team is playing tonight. I think they're playing they're playing Durfee?
Durfee High School in Fall River.
In Fall River, so they're on the bus right now. Hopefully they're listening, and I know they're paying attention to the school committee meeting before the game to jazz them up. But if you are watching, I think Revere TV will be posting the game at 6 p.m. And good luck to the Revere High School girls.
Absolutely. Can I make one clarifier? Sorry. I'm just reading my notes, which I couldn't put my hands on a minute ago, but the senior internship program, I should clarify, is specific to kids having paid internships to build the teacher pipeline. So it's paid internships for kids to explore jobs in teaching. So I missed that piece that it was specific around teaching, so I just want to clarify that.
We need teachers.
Okay, before we close the committee of the whole, we'll be back at 6 p.m. for the regular school committee meeting. Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All right, see you at 6.